It's been a while since Zoe showed her face around these parts and decided to join me while I film this little snippet. So this video, this painting live session, I'm gonna be focusing on 4 pieces that I'm just wrapping up. It's the finishing touches. Yeah, I hope you enjoy, paint along with me. Let me know if you had fun watching or if you painted along with me. And Zoe says, okay, I want to see how much I can, oh, I think this is, so I bought some new white paint because if you've been following along, you know my dilemma. I can't seem to get my Lucas Studio acrylic white, titanium white paint, and I'm like running so low. Like I'm saving this for like a larger painting where I know I'll need like a lot. So I got these 2, which are really, really cheap craft paints, and I'm gonna try them out. I'm gonna see if they hold up, if they do better than this acrylic gesso. We'll see how it goes. I'm not looking forward to, maybe it's just my cynicism or my my realistic expectations of this. I don't know. I don't know if this is gonna work or not. I hope it does. It's not a good sign that we have, hopefully it's not dried paint. Okay, it seems like it's just plastic. Oh my goodness. All right, it already smells atrocious. Okay, so the Royal Langnickel Essentials acrylic in titanium white, that's this. And then the Apple Barrel Indoor Outdoor Gloss White. We will see. Already I like this one a little bit more because it's like seems to be heavier bodied. This one just right off the bat seems watered down. So we'll see. We'll see how this works out. I want to keep the same colors going with this one. Let's see if I can. Hi, John. Don't create a shadow.
Hi, everyone.
Not gonna move the camera. It's like set up perfectly because I'm working on these 3 right now.
Oh.
Yeah, and
Doing some masterpieces then.
the
enthusiasm.
I don't know if they're masterpieces because masterpieces just happen. I don't like to like stress about that because don't get me wrong, sometimes I will overwork a painting because I want to make it like extraordinary, but every day, every time that I paint, I don't want that pressure, you know? This is meant to be fun, lighthearted, easy. There are some things that are like, you know, I put some time and effort into. I actually take the time to think about. And yeah, I just, this is the part that I let loose. I'm free. I'm creating. I want the happiness of my painting session to show through my work. And so I keep it pretty low pressure. All right, so there's a better way to test out these white paints, and it's by using complementary colors painted over each other with the white mixed in. Usually it's a little too transparent if it's a really bad paint. I'm actually not disappointed with the acrylic Royal Langnickel. Like I am not disappointed. It's way better than the gesso. My goodness, the gesso was like so almost unworkable. Like I couldn't even use it. Had to keep putting on the layers, which is weird because it's just the white. I'm putting pigment in there. These are really high quality paints. It's just the white. You know, you start to become a little bit picky with your art supply choices when you're an artist. I think we have our favorites for sure. And I know there's some artists that are a little bit more versatile and they'll just use anything. They just like creating and they don't care too much about brands or the quality. They make it work. Well, I'm a little bit different. I did not like painting at all growing up. And I think it was largely because the paints were very cheap. And I was just disappointed. I was that kid that liked to press really hard with her crayons and give as much pigment to the paper as possible. I didn't like that light shading. Let me zoom into this. Gotta make sure it's clear. Okay. And then maybe this light could get a little bit closer. I have this bad habit of putting brushes in my mouth when I'm talking and like doing something. So I'm sorry if I sound funny all of a sudden. All right. Okay, so I think that this I'm not disappointed with this white paint by Royal and Langnickel. I really thought I was going to hate it. Totally different formula than the gesso, which is weird because usually the gesso is a little bit thicker and way more opaque. So yeah, I'm pleased with that one. I guess now it's time to try the other one, the apple barrel. It's funny, these two put together, let's see, how many mils is this? 120 mils and 236 mils. All right, so this is 500 mils. These two put together, I guess they're pretty, this one's still more expensive. I don't know why I'm even comparing them. I'm like, obviously I would still put this one back. Oh shoot, I was gonna try using the other paint. Okay. After this I'll try the other one. I really like this painting. All of a sudden it's like making sense. And I think it's because of the white. It really makes the difference. When it's not a good white and it doesn't have the perfect amount of opacity and translucency. No, I should say transparency. Translucency is wrong. It does something. The color doesn't come out right. It doesn't distort the color, it's not right. So we want to work on this teal color. And let's see what's going on. Okay, this one's definitely less my cup of tea. Right away I can tell. Which is funny because I think this was the more expensive one if I do remember correctly. And yeah, it's almost double the mils. Like this is 120, that one's almost 240. But this one I think was 2 and change. Can't remember how much the apple barrel was, but it was a little over 5 maybe for both of them. Yeah, I'm just not a fan. I can't. I don't mind building up the layers, spending time building these layers to get the right opacity that I want, but this one was just too light for me. There's too much building required for me to be interested. Yeah, it's just not, it's not there. That's better. I still had some of that one on my brush, the apple barrel one. And don't get me wrong, like if I wanted something transparent like this, I would totally reach for that apple barrel, but usually I don't. Usually I want a certain level of transparency and opacity. It has to be a happy medium. Like this, it is a little bit more transparent, a little bit more watered down. It's got good body, but it still doesn't fully hold up to my go-to, which is like the perfect happy medium. I even add a little bit of water to this and it's still more opaque. So, but it's also not like 100% opaque. I'm not a big fan of paints that are, you know, so opaque, the white I mean, that they just completely like change the color of the paint. I don't know if that makes sense to anyone. Like if you've experienced this or you know what I'm talking about. It's just this weird thing where the color becomes a little bit dull. That's what I mean by distorted, like it's less bright. John's like, you talk too much. But that's just my like default when I talk to the camera, is to talk. I don't know. It used to be like a nervous thing and now I'm just used to talking. I'm really digging this piece. It's really nice. I'm pleased with it. Now, let's see how this white does by itself. Not too bad. Not too bad. So let me just show you a little comparison, and I'll show you with my Lucas paint that is like super watered down. And I'll do a little zoom in. Okay. Wow. Like, I wish I was using you, but I will have to order it directly from Jerry's, which I don't know why I haven't done that yet. Probably to save money. All right, let's see. There we go. So this is the Lucas Studio White right here. And this is the one that I'm using, Royal and Langnickel. You can tell this one is still a little bit opaque. I mean a little bit transparent, but it's way more opaque than this one. And I actually don't mind this one that much because it lightens the color and doesn't change it. I just need to build it up more. Versus this one is just too much building. Like, I'm going on there with a glaze, it feels like, and there's no lightening of the color. It's not even making it glossy, which is funny. Let's see. Yeah, no. It's really comparable actually to the Royal and Langnickel, but I feel like I'm pushing water around. So, to give you an idea, these two are very similar, the ones I got from Walmart. But this one is just, it's like way too much of the clear acrylic polymer and not enough pigment. This one's just slightly a notch up, and obviously, like, you can tell a huge difference between these two and that one. That's fine. We're gonna make it work for now. It's going to work. All right, focus, focus. Okay. I've been doing a manual focus lately. I don't know why. I just, like, that's what I'm drawn to lately. I have to do it myself. Sorry about the AC noise. The vent is like right here next to me. It's crazy. I thought we were gonna last a lot longer not turning the AC on because the days have just been really nice. But once it hits 80, well, it's 86 outside now. It's almost 90. It was time. We put it off, you know, like I was really enjoying just leaving the windows open and getting fresh air in. That was nice. But it's too hot for that now. Way too hot. And of course it reminds me of home because we basically have the AC on year round. It feels like that anyway. Ooh, I just love these colors. So pretty. You know, just before I left Arizona, I made the choice to the heck am I trying to say? I made the choice to start painting with a limited palette overall, like not just leaving other paint tubes there to chill and not use them. I'm talking about like when it's time to buy new paint, I'm just gonna stick to a certain set of colors instead of buying a bunch of different ones like I have been for so long. I'm just so indecisive about that. Like I was for the longest time. I was like, no, I could never limit myself to a certain set of colors. Like I love them all. I love having possibilities. And I finally decided that I would start doing that. However, even more recently, I've decided maybe that's not a good idea. It sounds silly, but it's true. I don't know. I'm missing some colors that I haven't been using, that I was using before. And I'm like, what the heck did you do? Of course, I would be happy painting with just these colors. I love them so much. But at some point, I feel like I would get bored. And I need something else. So for the moment, we're kind of just using up all of the paint and taking more time to think about it, because I'm still, I don't know. Okay, so I'm not totally disappointed. I'm actually all right. Like I'm feeling okay about these paints. I thought that I was going to just break my head about it entirely. Like, what the heck am I gonna do if I can't get my Lucas Studio titanium white? This is just absurd. Just trying to use up the rest of that apple barrel. I keep wanting to say cracker barrel. Looks really cool on camera. I think I need some white coming across this way too. Something else to brighten it up. Not that it's bright enough already, but I mean balance it out, I guess. That's what I mean. So up here we already have this light, really light value, and I kind of want to bring that down a little bit through this yellow, because there's just so much color going on. I feel like it needs a little bit of balance. Yeah, I will not be buying that Cracker Barrel one again. It is like way too see-through. Excuse me. Maybe bring out some of this orange. Okay, I'm sorry. Vermilion. Even I was like, this is not orange. In fact, on camera it probably even looks a little bit red. But if I had to give it a generic name, I would say it's a red-orange, leaning a little bit more towards red than orange. I love it. It makes the perfect peach color. Of course, it's a warmer peach. It's like the reddish part of the peach, not the more yellow side of it. Okay, it looks nice. Lighten this corner a little bit, and it's gonna be ready for the finishing details. Basically what I'm doing today is just going through my pile. In my last paint along, I was talking about how through the flow of painting day to day, sometimes I will finish a painting in one session, although that's pretty rare. I did it specifically for the video, for the live session last time, kind of to challenge myself. I hadn't done it for a while. And now I'm kind of going back to what I usually do, which I'm working on multiple pieces at the same time. And these pieces, as you can see, are not finished, but they are really close to being finished. And so it's just the most satisfying thing to like pile them up like that for when I do work on them and finish them. And I'm just like, boom, done with that one, boom, done with that one. And then I can go on to photograph them. It's just a really satisfying and accomplishing feeling to do it that way. It's one of the many ways that I stay inspired. Okay, maybe some little brushes to work on some details. Circle a few things here and there, dot some things. This piece was a very simplified palette. You can see that all of the colors were mixed together, and that's where I got my variety. Sometimes it's a lot nicer if you mix your own colors, especially with colors that are already being used on your palette. It makes it more cohesive, more interesting. Versus if I picked out a different hue of the same color, basically, like there's 2 different yellows that I use. At some point, maybe 4 different yellows. But my favorite, I have to say, is lemon yellow. And if I'm going to use a yellow orange or like a permanent yellow, I'll just mix it. I'll put a little bit of my red or orange into the yellow and make one out of that. So here we go. I will later refine this some more with the Posca pens. All right. Now I have these 2, and I can probably zoom in some more. Okay. And you can see my palette too. I move this a little bit closer like that. Okay. Okay, actually that's a little bit difficult for me, painting sideways like that. So for this one, I need the teeniest, tiniest, for both of these, I need the teeniest, tiniest brushes that I have. That should be good enough. It's time to buy some new brushes too. I've basically destroyed all of these. Okay, so right off the bat, we have the same color turquoise green that I was using in the previous painting. I know I had some phthalo green because I can see it. One of the nifty things about knowing the art supplies and loving the art supplies that you use is that you can also identify them and distinguish them between two different colors. This lime green is not this lime green, it's this lime green. And I can tell because when you mix it with white, this one will stay green and this one will look more yellow. Okay, so I'm just gonna take the tiniest little blip of this one. And then what else do we have? We have neon pink, the star of many shows. I have been painting with a lot of neon pink. Okay, a little bit of neon pink. And I know I used some of this color. Actually no. It looks more orange, so it has to be my Naphthol Red Light, which, okay, anyone would probably see this and say it's orange. It's just a little more red. And then this is the Vermilion. So I really ordered both of these so that I can see what they're both like. You can see on camera that they're very similar, but when you add white to them, they change. You can distinguishably tell the difference. This one looks a lot more like a light orange, where this one has a more pinky peachy tone to it. So I'll put some on my palette. Of course I need some white. And too bad they don't sell a large bottle of this, because I could really use it in the meantime. This is the only size that they have. Okay, so this green color, what do we want with it? You know, these two paintings have been sitting around for a while. Like I said, I have my pile, right? And since I've been working on a few different things, the paint along that I did, plus my summer collection, and then obviously when I paint live, that's a totally different set of artwork or artworks. And so I've not totally on purpose neglected this piece, but I maybe I wasn't feeling it at the time. So I left it off to the side, and I feel like finishing them now. They're kind of calling to me. They're telling me which way they want to go, which sometimes doesn't come as easy as you would think. They have a mind of their own, these paintings. Of course, I create them. They come entirely from my mind. But where they end up going, where the process takes me, I feel is very much individual to that artwork. Okay, so lightening up these dark areas and just working the painting, figuring it out as I go. This is something that just comes with time. It takes a minute to build that level of intuition and really get to know your own individual process. For this piece here, I just want to keep the middle part light, and then everything on the edges is just, it's darker, it pops. And I'll just keep working that. I really like this purple in the corner here. It's like a periwinkle. And then of course the pink is just popping. You know, I think I'm missing a color for sure. I think I'm missing a color. Permanent red violet light. That's what I was missing. And I just used a touch of it, so I'm not gonna put a whole lot of it on my palette. I just want to lighten the areas where I used it and kind of marry that light middle section. Yeah, and then I just keep working the painting until it fully makes sense. The composition is carved out. And I know exactly how I made that really dark color. And that was by adding neon pink with the phthalo green. It makes this like dark periwinkle, like a light cloudy purple. It's like a neutral purple, but still leaning towards cool more. I want the dark part to still be there and give contrast to this lighter purple. I'm just making it look like this green is overlapping with this purple, and you can't really tell where one starts and where the other one ends. One of my favorite things about abstract art is you can just play with it and get some really interesting, you know, sections of the painting where you're just like, whoa, this is nice. How did that happen? how do you get it to be so layered and so intricate, really? I actually get that a lot. Like, how do you have the patience for all those details? Or how do you make it look like just so interesting? And the answer is I just keep going. And most people would probably stop like way before this, but I just keep going. Keep going till it starts to make sense, till I see a composition forming. I've already kind of shaped out the composition for both of these. So I'm really just framing it more, adding a little bit more details. This one in particular, I do not like that I have blue up here and down here. It's too weird. I'm not digging this green down here. It just doesn't match really with the palette. Even though I've used both of those colors, I just mixed them together. It just doesn't make sense. Like that little pop of orange, and then I want to do the same thing over here, except I'm going to change the color of this corner down here because I do not like it. Go with that first. And neons are great, but there's one thing about neons that is a little bit tricky. If you want to make your neon look a little bit lighter, it's difficult because it no longer looks neon. It's still a little bright, but it doesn't have that electricity to it anymore that it did before you added white to it. So it's just this interesting dilemma. You have to use it like straight out of the tube. I like that. Okay, Picasso, me likey. Do you ever get TikTok stuck in your head? Or whatever your poison is, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. I think I first took an interest in watching Instagram Reels, mostly because that was my main platform for the longest time. And then came YouTube Shorts for me, and then TikTok. But now I'm just like, alright, if I'm gonna do this, if I'm gonna spend time on this, like I gotta pick one. I can't be doing this all the time, you know? It's just so time consuming. John and I just spent what felt like eternity watching Titanic. And it's kind of nice because I hadn't seen it in forever. And I like it like that. I like letting time go by and like enjoying a film I don't want to say like it's the first time because I've seen Titanic enough times to know like the whole movie, but it had been a while since I had seen it the whole way through. And it was pretty cool. We had a little bit of an issue because we ordered DoorDash, and lately they have just been messing up our order. Like, something always happens. And this time we ordered Korean barbecue. We love Korean barbecue, oh my gosh. And we also ordered, because you know when you order, it gives you a certain time where you can add to your order from like another place. Well, we didn't get drinks, and so we ordered something from the 7-Eleven too. And so the Dasher dropped our order off at 7-Eleven, which was disappointing. Or at least they said they did, and then they wouldn't answer the phone when we called them to be like, hey, that's not where you were supposed to drop off the order. Like, I don't live at the 7-Eleven. What the heck? Pretty much. But it's weird that happened. And then we had to spend forever on customer service. Just waiting. Luckily, Titanic is long enough that we just waited for the redelivery to show up, and still were able to enjoy the movie while eating our food. Okay, so I'm in like concentration mode, and like I'm in the zone listening to some music. So I decided to continue with these the following day. It's now the next day. Sometimes it happens like that. I get into the flow of painting and it's not always continuous. Like, I do set some pieces aside, save them for later, and I'm kind of multitasking and posting content and trying to stay active with several different platforms. So when I feel like one needs a little bit more love, I set one down and return later, which is what I'm doing now. Now, I said I was finished painting these and that all I needed was the finishing touches. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just hitting it with some final little details. These two, I wanted a little pop of this yellow orange, which is called Diarylide Yellow. Okay. Uh-oh, it wasn't focused. Let's move these up. Why does it look blurry? Okay, there we go. That's better. And you know what? I'm gonna set this one aside so that I can zoom in on these two a little bit more. Actually, side to side works a little better. Ooh, I just love how these look on camera. It kind of solidifies the whole look for me. Like, I just can picture them in their final state. So really the purpose of these Posca pens is to enhance the composition a little bit. I use them to frame any specific shapes that I want, like highlighted, and these finishing details really bring the painting together. It's one of my favorite steps, but if you've seen my live painting sessions on Instagram, I talk about this a lot. It's hard for me to pick my favorite part of the process because every part is my favorite, really. This is something I really paid attention to when crafting my painting style. I wanted to make sure that every part of the process was something that I could carry on for a long time and that I could grow with and that I could master and not get bored with. So a reason that it's like this is because there's just so much detail and so much variety with all of the things that I do with my paintings, and and I just can't get bored. Like this is the way it's been for a little while now, a couple years. And for sure, I would have moved on to the next thing if I was bored. I would have done it 10 times by now. That's not to say things won't change in the future. It's just, this is what I really love. I love the versatility of using all these different kinds of art supplies. I'm going in with a brush to kind of move around the color because the tip of this Posca pen is a little thicker than I want some of the marks to be. So I had to move them around with the brush. Okay. I'm not gonna go too crazy with this. I just want a few things brought out and pushed back. Sometimes these final details really do a lot for the painting. Especially these really fine Posca pens, because the tip is really tiny. It's 0.7 millimeters, and I don't have any brushes that leave such fine marks like this. So a good way for me to introduce marks like that is with the Posca pens. It's kind of funny how I created these on top of each other like this, and you know, sometimes I have fun with it and I kind of make them line up and like it's one picture. That would be a diptych though. These are just sister paintings, which means I used the same color palette and created two pieces side by side. That's just how I like to call it. And somehow these dots like perfectly lined up. There's like this dark section that bleeds into this light. The green isn't running all the way across, but I just love that they're really similar and they could go together. They could certainly be hung right next to each other. And I love these colors. They're so nice. I'm really into them. I do want this section down here to be a little lighter because I meant for it to be beige, but if you were listening earlier, I was saying that I'm not getting the right opacity with my paint, with my white paint. And so I have to work around that and kind of just make it work. So let's see if we can kind of make it look like it's meeting up here at the green. This is what I mean by framing the composition. There's a light section here that's kind of zigzagging across like a wave, and these Posca pens really help me highlight that, whereas before I added the Posca pens it was a little bit more abstract in the sense that you couldn't really see the composition. Okay, so I like that a lot. All right, now this one is a little trickier. Basically, this lime green is the only light value apart from these little white highlighted areas. So I want to brighten up some other areas and make them look like they're originating from this lime green part. Kind of make them look like they're connected. Alright, that thing over there is wiggling too much. Okay, so you can kind of see now there's the green going up and going down right here. Everything else is a darker value, and I like that they're in contrast with one another. Which in turn is working because they bring each other out. Okay. And then just brighten up these white globs. I did use neon with these pieces. I used a lot of the neon pink, and so I'm going in with this neon red to kind of deepen some of that. Just gives it another extra little pizzazz. Here's a Payne's Gray. What I like to call it is Payne's Gray, but it's actually, the color is called Slate Gray. It's a Payne's Gray. And just kind of bringing out some of these darker areas. Again, to give contrast to the light next to it. No, this wasn't really the color black. It was a phthalo green mixed with the neon pink. But I am going in and darkening some of these areas, again, to give a good contrast to my lighter values. But I really love that you can look closely and you can see that this is actually a bluish purple. It's like a dark periwinkle. And the black being right next to it kind of brings it out more, where it looked kind of a little dull before. You know what? I kind of really like where the pieces are as they stand. I just want to bring out this yellow part. Let's maybe add some little yellow details here and there. And voila! Finished. That didn't take too long. Oh no, I wasn't even fully on camera for the other side of this. Right side. Since it is upside down technically. Alright, so what I want to do now is I want to find a color that won't take away from all of these bright colors. Let's see. I'm thinking gray, but maybe you won't even be able to see it. Yeah, you won't even be able to see it. So maybe we'll go in with this beige color. And again, when I sign my paintings, I like it to be just off the page a little bit. And I want to leave space. I want to leave a substantial amount of space for the matte. So I know I will be matting these paintings, and I'm getting distracted adding more details right after I sign it, like always. Alright. I think they're finished. Okay, so I leave a little space from the edge. I don't sign it right on the edge, because the matte always steals a tiny little part of your painting. I love these pieces. So first we have this one. Let me just focus it. Da-da. Now it's just time to title it. Both of them. Doing this backwards or upside down is a funny process. Okay, there we go. And then everything we have left, these can be set off to the side to dry. Actually, I should get them completely out of my way so I don't smudge anything, but it still needs to dry. And now this one. All right, just had to get it focused there. Okay. So I'm not totally obsessed with this piece yet. And I can't say I absolutely adore every one of my artworks because that would be false. I do like some pieces more than others. I'd say I create so much art now that I need it to be at least at a level of satisfaction. It has to have a good composition. I have to think that the colors are interesting together. I have to step outside of the box because really, if I could create paintings that only I would love all day long, I would probably stay within the same family of cool colors and just not have very much variety of colors in my work. And it's nice to step out of the box and do that. It really is. It's a challenge. And this one was a little bit of a fight, I will say. I kind of hated it in the beginning. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna end up painting over this piece. It just doesn't make sense. But I kept working. Kept working on it and fighting through it, and here we are adding the final details. I'm pretty much obsessed with this salmon color right here. I think it's to die for. I love it. Haven't had a whole lot of chances to use this neon pink. I don't know if I like it. I do not know if I like it. I might end up mixing it with this orange because it kind of doesn't fit the look of this like primarily orange, yellow orange with a contrast of blue and teal and green. Looks really cool, a little touch of olive. just shuffle through, and I don't know if I'm looking for a particular color. I'm just basically looking for inspiration. Some of these areas weren't opaque enough to my liking, so I'm going in with this white Posca pen. I'm gonna leave this area bare. I'm gonna leave that area bare like that. Maybe add some little marks up here. Let's see, how does it look on camera? Sometimes looking at the camera gives me another perspective. I do like that we have this like diamond shape going on, and that the dark value really is concentrated around this red-orange color. Everything else is kind of just there. This purple right here, it looks purple on camera. It's like a gray. I made like this neutral color over here. I think I'm going to lighten it up with some beige. Gives the painting a little more texture to go in with a fine tip like this. Okay, that looks cool. Looks like grass. Bring this yellow inward a little bit because I don't see it. Time to order some more Posca pens. I ordered some new ones, but I've just been, I don't know when the video went out. Probably just a couple minutes ago. I've been doing the same thing, just circling and adding little marks, and I don't think much has changed since last time I looked at it on the camera, but I'm ready to sign it. I'm going in with this green Posca pen, which I think goes really well with the colors in this painting. And again, I'm gonna leave a little space from the edge so that my signature doesn't get covered up when it gets matted. All right, let's unzoom this and let's do some focusing here. we go. That is the painting. I really like the composition of this piece. How it's kind of this warped diamond heading in this direction. I like that. And then just a little recap, also finished this piece and this piece. I hope you enjoyed watching the finishing touches of these pieces. You know what? I always do this. I'm sorry for those of you watching that have a pet peeve about working on something after it's been signed. Oh well, what can I say? We're not perfect over here. And you know, I just realized since I started a new session, I started a new clip, I could work on this piece. This piece needs to be finished. So we can go ahead and do that. Yeah. All right. I do want to keep this piece simplified for the most part. I like the really big shapes that are going on, and I'm just gonna do what I can to give those shapes a little bit more definition without losing what they're giving us, basically. Do some light outlining of these. This one could use some pink. It's funny, I don't throw these away until they're like absolutely empty and not giving me any ink, or I should say paint. And this is because I like when they get streaky. I like when I get down to the very, very last of the product. And this is because I embrace imperfections in my work. I used to stress about things looking perfect, and I don't do that anymore. It's just, where's the fun in that? Why give myself an unnecessary headache? And this one, I think it's a faulty pen because since I opened it, it's not as pigmented. It kind of looks like it's giving me transparent paint. And the only way you can really see it is if you're making marks on a darker backdrop. But it's supposed to be this light orange, and it's like a clear orange. Ooh, I like how this olive looks. Like it's just cutting through the bigger shapes and it's more in the foreground. What else do we want to do? We want some teal. Give some contrast over here to this really dark teal. It's kind of drowning over here by itself. It needs something. Cool. I love this blue because when you use it with next to purple, it looks like a periwinkle. So nice. And some of these details are so subtle, you couldn't possibly see them unless you were like really up close, but I feel like they do add something. Even when you're looking at it far away, you can tell that there's more to the painting, which I feel like makes it look more enticing, and it makes you want to walk up to it to admire those details. It's like they're drawing you in. It's one of the things I like about adding these details. Gives it that extra something. And of course we have to play up this purple and yellow over here. It's just popping so nicely. Same thing with the teal and this Indian yellow. Or I should say diarylide. It's the same color, two different brands, two different names for them. It is finished. Now time to sign it. That's why I wanted to include it in this painting because, or in this video, because I knew it was gonna be quick. And wow, doesn't that look so much better? My goodness, okay. And I'm going in with a light gray. Is this light gray? Yeah, well, it's just gray. The other one is a light gray and it's darker. Oh no, it's slate gray. Okay, I'm probably thinking of a different color. They're so similar though, but they just complement different paintings. Okay, it's finished. close up. Ta-da. All right, so we finished 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thanks so much for joining. I hope I've inspired you to paint. It's really therapeutic. Of course, I do this as my profession, like I'm an artist, so there is a therapeutic element to it, but also I try to separate myself from it sometimes and have my creative sessions that are more fun, more for me, and then I have my creative sessions that are more for work and just getting things done. So I hope you enjoyed this. Comment below if you want to see a certain color palette or if you have some suggestions for some kind of artwork or composition, whatever. Thanks so much. Bye.